I don't know whether you guys have ever heard about the idea of internalized racism. Um, so yesterday I was reading this book about the sexual lives of African women or black women, I think, and one of the people in the book, not the characters, one of the women featured in the book was talking about coming from Costa Rica and uh, talking about people in some areas of the Caribbean and South America wanting to distance themselves from their blackness. Let me give you an example. The Caribbean and South America is one of those really diverse places whereby you have all shades of people, from people that are really brown to people that are really pale to people that are really dark skinned. And because when you look at their cultural identity, you can see that there is a lot of African extraction, but you find that these people, there are classes of these people, uh, they call themselves the mestizo. They are not black, they have shades of white, or they are essentially a mulatto population but with a strong African extraction. And you find that these people systemically distance from themselves from their African extractions by avoiding the African tag, the Afro tag. And so they want to move from as far from blackness as possible and as close to whiteness as possible, if that makes sense. They'll do anything and they label themselves anything, but they won't label themselves as black. That is an example of internalized racism, whereby you take some aspects of the stereotypes against your race and adopt them and use them to marginalize yourself or people around you. That's the easiest way I can explain it. Whereby you want to walk away from your blackness because you don't want to be associated with the things blackness is associated with. That is internalized racism. You can even see it in our societies where people believe that lighter shades of skin are better than darker shades, so they use products to whiten themselves to move closer to the ideology of being white because it feels safe, it feels better, it feels non-oppressed. It's also the same thing with the when I was thinking about, actually this idea came from that book, but it made me remember a YouTube video I saw about this Ethiopian kid in the 40s participating in a debate with students from other countries. It was something organized by the United States of America, and kids from other countries would go fly all the way to the US and they would debate about issues of importance around the world. So this kid is an Ethiopian, and this is a clearly black kid. But this kid is talking about not being a Negro, being from another part of Somalia, Australia, Ethiopia, and not identifying as black because they are not black, they are, I think, Amharic or something. And it was a shocker to me because this kid is black, and I can see that this kid is black. It was kind of a shocker for me that this kid has been taught to internalize this racism and separate himself from people who look like himself. And in reality, he cannot separate himself from those people because he looks like those people. And the people he thinks he's appealing to just don't respect that. They can't respect that. I've also seen the internalized racism in the way some African countries want to walk away from the African identity. Um, in the 80s, at some point in the 80s, the Egyptian Football Federation, you might not know this, applied for adoption into I think into UEFA. Believe you me, into UEFA. They wanted at least from matches football, to belong to another federation and walk away from the African Federation. Of course, that was denied. They are not Europeans, they are not in Europe. That is shocking. And in the latest World Cup, where Morocco had a massive, actually, sorry, it's a Moroccan Football Federation that had applied to belong to Europe. It was not Egypt. I'm sorry about that. Now, come down to the latest World Cup where Morocco had a very beautiful run up to the quarterfinals, I think. And largely people in the northern part of Africa, they do not want to identify as Africans. They want to say they are Arabs. Yes, but you're also African, and there's nothing. The thing about ethnicity is that you cannot do anything about it. So you can believe whatever you want, and you'll still be wrong. You are African. You are as African as a person in the southernmost tip of Africa. There's nothing wrong with being African. There's nothing absolutely wrong with being African. People are just people. Embrace who you are. Don't internalize hate and racism and use it against your own people. Yes, you are Arabic, but you're also African. There's nothing wrong with that. People are diverse. Diverse, not diverse. So I just thought that internalized oppression, all forms of internalized oppression are they're a bit silly, to be completely honest, because you can believe what you want, but the truth is the truth. There's nothing wrong. I'm proud to be African. I'm proud to be black. I can't be anything else. That's who I am. And you get respect for accepting yourself rather than distancing yourself from your people. Our people are beautiful. Our culture is beautiful. Our music is beautiful. Our food is beautiful. So, what's not to like?
As a matter of fact, we don't have the Negro blood at all. And we migrated from the Semitic type of Saudi Arabia and Yemen and the countries just away from the Red Sea. And the origin could be said that some people drafted and came to the northern part of Ethiopia. And then they migrated inwards. And time went on, they stayed instead, and then the Hamitic races from the from the south and from Sudan and things like that, from the countries
But
in
if you,
Africa.
excuse me for interrupting, but if you don't have Negro blood, then this is news to me. The Ethiopians, I would think, wouldn't have any particular feeling about race relations in other parts of Africa.
We don't at all feel any relationship with it. It's none of our concern. I mean, we just don't care about it as we don't have the Negro blood. We shouldn't have to worry ourselves. I mean, the color you might, the color of my face is just dark because it's due to the exposure of the sun. And my country is a mountainous country. It's 800 feet above sea level. And it's more or less nearer to the sun than is the other countries that lay near the equator.
Yuma,
Yeah.
you're not white,
And not black.
not black. What
Yes.
are you?
It's just in between.
Yuma, and I would like to know, are you, for instance, very much interested in the South African race policy?